I don't know. See, it's so weird to do my first video after I get my hair cut, you know, because I'm so used to having longer hair. I just don't know what to do with it. Everything looks strange. It's just... No. No. Hold on. Let me just... Yeah, sure. Let's just go with that. Fine. If not, I'm just going to be doing this the whole video, so fine. Let's just roll with it. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Tekking and Barry here, back again. For today's video, I thought let's just keep it simple. You know, let's just do one of the classics. Let's reach into that magical infinite bag of Paramecia devil fruits and just pull out one at random and just talk about it. Why not? So for that reason, today, let's talk about, for no real reason. Probably has nothing to do with the fact I just got my hair cut. Also probably has nothing to do with the fact that I have 2 pairs of scissors just conveniently laying on my desk right in front of me. Check it out. I'm a mechanical crab. Mechanical Crab Stage 1. I'm getting there. It's a process. It's like Digimon evolution, right? Okay. Today we're going to be talking about INAZUMA'S Choki Choki, or the fruit. The Snip-Snip fruit. That's right. But you shouldn't play with scissors, kids, and you certainly shouldn't run with them. So I'm going to take these scissors, and I'm going to set them down right over here, and I am not going to touch them, probably, for the rest of the video. Because if there's one thing that PSAs in the 1990s taught me, for some specific reason, was do not run with scissors. And don't get me wrong, it's a good lesson to teach kids. You shouldn't be running with any sharp object. You shouldn't be running with a spoon, honestly, to just be straight up. But I don't know what it was. I just remember in the 1990s, vividly, a bunch of cartoons were always about, like, do not run with scissors. Do not run with scissors, kids. And I don't know. I mean, I wasn't alive in the 1980s, but I know in the 1980s there was a bunch of, like, drug PSAs, like, you know, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out of the sewer and like, hey kids, don't do drugs, cowabunga! But in the 90s, for whatever reason, it was scissors. Don't play with scissors. Maybe there was a thing that was happening I wasn't privy to. There was some accident, and then they was like, hey, let's get the people from Dexter's Laboratory on the horn, and let's get them to make an anti-running with scissors PSA. Okay, let's just do it. So I remember Dexter's Laboratory, there was one there. You know, so don't run with scissors unless you have proper scissors handling robots that you have to work with, because that's what Dexter did. So whatever. At any rate, I'm getting off track here, although I'm not, because it's scissors related. Talking about INAZUMA'S Choki Choki no Mi, right? I mean, very, very good supporting character during Impel Down. That was right around the time I started reading One Piece, like weekly, you know? I took a break after the 4Kids era, and then a few years later when I was in high school, I started reading it, you know, week by week, and it was the chapter where Minotauros was defeated by Luffy, where Luffy used Jet Bazooka on Minotauros. That's when I first started reading it. So I was a little confused. I was hopping from, like, the end of Skypiea all the way to Impel Down, so there was a few things that I was confused by, like, where's Luffy's crew at? What? Oh, Mr. Two's back. That's pretty cool. And you're like, oh, there's Buggy, but, like, where is everybody, right? It was a little confusing. Shortly after I started reading, also, Luffy just gets curb stomped by Magellan, so that was like, whoa. And then, shortly after that, they're in level 5, Mr. 2, Bon Clay, and Luffy are being attacked by wolves, and they get defeated. You know, Mr. 2 gets all bitten and clawed up. Luffy uses that burst of Conqueror's Haki, and then he passes out from the poison, and at the end of the chapter, just boom! Strike a pose. Striking an epic pose is INAZUMA, and I didn't know what was going on, and just random character. I didn't know. I think, for all I knew, this character had appeared before. It was a brand new character, but I didn't know that at that point, because I was skipping over like 300 chapters of One Piece. But whatever. INAZUMA showed up, and I'm like, I like his outfit. I like his outfit. I thought at first, because it was manga, it was black and white, I thought INAZUMA'S outfit was, like, literally black and white, so, like, a yin-yang thing going on. Later on in the anime, we find out it's, like, a contrasting of various colors. It's white and orange and yellows and stuff. His tie is, some red in there, and then awesome shades, you know? So I really love INAZUMA'S design. Also, INAZUMA just means lightning bolt in Japanese, so you got the lightning bolt scar there. Also, INAZUMA, as we find out later, is a deputy commander of the Revolutionary Army. You could figure this, you know, before, but it was explained in an SBS a little while ago. Every commander of the Revolutionaries has, like, a lieutenant or a deputy that works under them. We haven't seen all of them yet. We got to see Bello Betty's, and we also got to see Ivankov's, the Grand Line commander's deputy, of course, is INAZUMA. INAZUMA has the Choki Choki no Mi, allowing him to turn his hands and his arms into scissors. Giant scissors! Or tiny scissors, too. He can just kind of, like, strike the peace sign and then, you know, turn his fingers into scissors, and he can cut cut through pretty much anything. It's kind of similar to Mr. One Dazbones' Dice Fruit, or the Supa-Supa no Mi, right? Just a little bit more limited. There's a lot of devil fruits like that. There's a lot of devil fruits in general, and while it is that no two devil fruits have the exact same power, you get some devil fruits that are very similar to each other in power. So, for example, if you want to get a power that allows you to turn your body into blades, like Mr. One's Supa-Supa no Mi, you know, he has buzzsaws on his arms, and he can, like, make his whole body as tough as a steel katana, and if that fruit's already taken, there's a lot of other options for you. You can go with Miss Doublefinger's Toge no Mi, you know, the spike fruit, that's very similar to that. There's also the Buki no Mi, you know, Baby Five's devil fruit, allowing her to turn into sickles and swords and spears and a whole assortment of a bunch of different weapons. The Buki no Mi is actually the upgraded form of the Supa-Supa no Mi. So there's a lot of stuff for you. There's alternates, you know what I mean? Especially when you're talking about fire and heat-based fruits. So if you ever get isekai'd into the One Piece world, if you ever do the isekai adventures I run on this channel, and you really want to get your hands on the Mera no Mi, you're like, man, I really love fire abilities in anime. I want to get Ace and Sabo's power. If it's already taken, it's okay. You got a lot of other options. It's like you're at a candy store with this, right? You can get the Magu no Mi, you can get the Atsu no Mi, or the Netsu no Mi, or the Kachi no Mi, or Bill's Smelt fruit. My god, there really are a lot of fire and heat-based devil fruits out there, right? So the Choki no Mi is like that. It allows you to turn your body into blades, much like the Supa-Supa no Mi, but just in a much more limited capacity. Also, I don't know if the scissors are made out of steel. They might be made out of iron. See, in INAZUMA'S case, it doesn't really matter what the scissors are physically made out of, because this is one of those aspects where Oda is taking, like, the nature of what scissors do. Scissors, like, slice through, they cut through paper, right? So it's not just turning your body into scissors and using them as blades. Inazuma can do that as well. He literally takes on the powers of what scissors do. So everything he cuts acts as if it was paper being cut by scissors, okay? So it doesn't matter if it's actual paper, or cardboard, or steel, or stone, or the ground itself. Like, anything he can cut, as long as it's not sea prism, that would of course be like the one exception, will bend and twist and warp and conform to the way paper would act. So if Inazuma goes up against a giant stone wall that's like 30 feet high, you'd be like, oh no, how are we gonna get around this? Inazuma's like, stand back, and then just turns his entire arm into a giant pair of scissors and literally just starts snip, 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 cutting through the wall, and then until it literally just, you know, he could just make like a door and just push it like it's a cartoon, like it's Tom and Jerry or something, and just walk on through. And the thing is, the stone still retains its mass and its weight. I guess it's just some sort of like magical force that just makes it into the paper. And even after it falls down, even after the scissors stop physically cutting and touching whatever he's slicing apart, it still stays with the consistency, you know, of paper, kind of. Where Inazuma during Marineford, this is a good example. So Luffy was trying to get up onto the scaffolding to save Ace, right? Okay. And so Inazuma kind of runs ahead, turns his hands into scissors, and literally slices up the ground itself, and then kind of like flipped it so the ground flipped up into a bridge and landed on the scaffolding. So you have a bridge from the scaffolding all the way down, and Inazuma's like, you know, Straw Hat, go, save your brother, right? So even after Inazuma was done cutting it, you think like this stone and the dirt and the ground that Inazuma sliced up to make that makeshift bridge, if it went back to the way it was, like, this is not structurally integral, like it would fall apart immediately, but no, it still stayed the way it was, okay? So whatever placement it is, at least maybe for a little while, maybe there is a little bit of a time lag on this or something, maybe give it like 5 minutes, it'll just crumble, you know, it'll retain that. But other than that, he could still use it. Like, he could slice up the ground and impel down. There was that technique he used, keep out! You know, he says it in English, of course, keep out! So he slices up the ground, and he just kind of like chucks the ground at Magellan, and when it was hitting Magellan, it had some weight behind it. Like, he was literally getting hit with stone. It's just stone that has the consistency of paper. Makes sense, right? Makes sense, right? Makes sense, right? Yes, it does, because it's One Piece, right? Inazuma turns his fingers into scissors and then uses them to, like, lockpick, to, like, pick the lock of the cell. And I'm like, Okay, as long as the cells themselves are not made out of sea prism, or even if there's sea prism lining the bars, as long as the locking mechanism itself is not made out of sea prism, I could see Inazuma having another application of that. He turns his fingers into scissors, and then he can, like, literally pick the lock, so that's handy, right? But at any rate, you know, there's a few other applications beyond just cutting that he can do. He can also, I'm assuming, cut actual people apart if he really wanted to. That's the question. So, we were doing the One Piece D&D a couple weeks ago, we were doing this episode, and my character, William, got the Choki no Mi, and I went up to fight against this enemy, Big Bozo, this giant clown, and I was like, I'm gonna fight this clown with these giant pairs of scissors, and I'm like, man, this is gonna be awesome, but I'm like, did Inazuma ever actually, like, slice somebody up with the scissors? And even if he did, because I think he did in the anime, I think it was added more, like, he was, like, cutting people apart, even if he did do that, would it cut like a regular pair of scissors, like a regular blade? Like, can he choose to cut like a regular blade if he wants to? So just like he has swords coming out of his hands, and he could just slice, and cut people down like Daz Bones could? Or does it have to be cut in the way of, like, everything has to turn into paper, or the consistency of paper? So it's like if Inazuma goes to slice somebody's arm off, it's just like, snip, I cut your arm off. Oh no, my arm! And the arm falls off, but it, like, unravels. It unravels like you're slicing, like you're cutting a piece of, like, wrapping paper, because the holiday season is coming up. You know, you're cutting the wrapping paper up, and it kind of, like, unfurls that way. Just, oh no, my arm! It's slowly unraveling! Would it be something like that? You know, could he do that on living things? You know, that's the question. I don't think we really got to see that in the canon of the manga too much. If we did get to see it, it was kind of just added in the anime, or it might have just been a scene where Inazuma is just, like, charging through a bunch of guards, like, out of the way! BAM! He's also very eloquent, you know, very fancy when he does it. You know, he strikes a pose. He always has a wine glass with him, which is great, because the wine glass, you know, he'll turn his hands into scissors, and the wine will still be, like, in between the scissors, you know, like, you know, just do this, and then put the wine glass in there and just sip the wine or whatever, and turn his hands back into regular hands or whatever. Always rocking the wine glass, always doing it with a little bit of flair, you know, that's Inazuma. It's great. Like a lightning bolt, right? And so, we get that scene and him just knocking people back. I guess you could also do that, too. Like, he turns his hands and his arms into scissors. I don't think he can do it any part of his body. I don't think it's, because that would be getting kind of too much into Daz Bones' territory there. I could sort of see maybe the legs, turning the legs into scissors, but not like the rest of your body. Like, you couldn't turn your entire body into a giant pair of scissors. I don't think Inazuma's capable of that, or is like as hard as scissors or as hard as steel, because that's the Supa-Supa no Mi power. So far it's just the arms and the hands specifically, but who knows, it could be other stuff as well. But doesn't even have to use them as scissors. You know, you have these two giant shears, you know, also another name, giant shears coming out of your arms, or they are your arms. You could just use them closed and just, like, smack people upside the head with them, right? Like on the blunt end of the scissors, you can just knock them around like that. That would probably hurt quite a bit. So, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it could kind of work similar to Law's fruit, where if you go to, like, slice somebody up, and it's like you don't actually cut off their body parts, you just like kind of like unfurl them like paper or something, right? Like you're making some kind of origami thing or whatever, some kind of paper lantern or something. You just, like, cut them in a certain way and they just unravel. So they're there, kind of like Law's fruit, where it takes them apart and it's like you shouldn't be alive, but because of the fruit you are still alive. Might be able to do something like that with people, but, you know, maybe that might be really sadistic. And the thing is, unlike Law's fruit, Inazuma, if he did do that to somebody, might not be able to piece them back together. Because it does seem that it's like, you know, when he slices something apart and he's moving, like, the stone walls or the ground around, I don't think he'll just be able to, like, pop it back into place where it was at. So if he did that to somebody and they're on the ground all unwound, it's like, oh no, please help me! Tell us how to get out of this prison. Oh, you just make 3 lefts and then go up the elevator. The passcode is 1, 2, 3, 4. Please leave me alone. He's like, all right, thank you. I'm like, okay, turn me back into normal now, please. Oh, yeah, I just have the power to cut you up. I don't have the power to actually... You're gonna need somebody that has the glue fruit for that. Is there a glue fruit? There is not a glue fruit. There should be a glue fruit. Oda, I feel, is going to use that one. That is really nuts. I guess, okay. At any rate, yeah, you're gonna need the guy that has the glue fruit, or maybe the scotch tape fruit. You know, you're gonna need somebody with the tape powers, because I can't fix you. But thanks for telling me, and then you just leave, right? So yeah, But let's think of some other applications for this, Inazuma. So essentially, like, you don't even need to do it, like, as much flair as he has, you know, like, slicing everything apart in, like, an artistic way or anything. Like I said with the wall, any sort of fortification, as long as it's not sea prism, is meaningless in front of this. Like, let's say you have, like, a giant castle with a huge moat in front of it. Like, literally, all Inazuma needs is a running start. Give him a running start to just slice up the ground. Doesn't matter if it's stone or pavement or just earth itself. Just give him enough space to, you know, run and then cut it all out and then just whoop, just land, you know, cross the freaking moat and then get there and then just like see, this is why you don't play around with scissors, you know? Okay, but you just take a pair of scissors and you just like, all right, this giant wall, boop, done. You know, that's all you need, right? What would an awakening of this fruit be? What would the awakening entail? It turns the world into scissors. I don't know. I mean, the only thing I could think of with an awakening to extend this power to the environment around him is maybe Inazuma doesn't even need the scissors to physically touch the things he wants to cut at that point. As long as it's within a certain range of him, he could slice things apart, you know, houses and everything. It doesn't necessarily have to be touching the scissors. He takes the scissors out and just like with one slash, it like slices up the entire town and like bends it all like that, right? Because you'd figure, yeah, if Inazuma, we saw this at Impel Down when he was slicing up the tower in between level 3 and level 2. Ivankov was going to stay on level 3 and delay Magellan, and he's like, okay, Inazuma, I need you to take down the tower so nobody can get back up. So Inazuma runs up the whole length of the tower while, you know, slicing it with his scissors, gets to the top and just kind of like, okay, Eva, please survive. Snip, and then the whole tower fell down, and it was like paper unraveling, right? So he could just do that, except without all the motions. He could just like slice it like this, and like right in the center of town, and all of town will like split apart like it was made of paper, right? So it could be something like that for an awakening. I don't think his awakening would, or I guess maybe it could be like scissors coming out of like other objects, but I don't know how that would work. So I like more like just the extended range kind of logic here for the Snip-Snip fruit. Some of the devil fruits are more easy to understand in terms of awakenings and what they could do than others. Inazuma's might be a little bit more abstract, right? But yeah, at any rate, he could... Oh, this is something interesting that he could do. I wonder if he could do this. So if he, like, let's say you wanted to transfer something, like, through a, like, let's say, oh no, we gotta move this giant, tank through like this area, or it's dangerous or something, or we need to like espionage, or like, you know, the Revolutionary Army, like move one thing to another place, right? I guess in theory he could slice it up like paper and then move it through, but you wouldn't be able to paste it back together. See, that's the thing. That's the thing. You'd have to be able to paste it back together to make this fruit like truly useful in that regard. Like, you know, take this tank or something and then, you know, cut it up and then move it and then literally just like put it back together. But I don't think he could do that. So that was an option. That was an idea. But yeah. So at any rate, aside from not being able to put it back together, it's still very, very useful kind of fruit. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you today. But once again, like I said, very simple, basic kind of video, just talking about another Paramecia. And I really like Inazuma's character, so there's that too. So yeah, Barry, you have anything else to add? Yep, I know. Do not play with bricks either, because bricks will... Don't run with bricks. Don't run with anything. Don't run at all. Just stay still. Okay, everybody, have a good night. Tekking101 signing out. Oh, crap, we're doing this. All right, all right. Greetings, everyone. It is I, the captain of the Devil's Luck Pirate Crew, William Eminem. Ha-ha! Would you like to see a card trick? No, okay, maybe later. Anyway, I'm here with a very special announcement. Tomorrow, Tekking, who plays my character, as well as Rustage, who plays God, essentially, in our One Piece D&D adventures, as well as Briggs, who plays Ragnar, the mighty shipwright. We'll be doing a question and answer segment. It's going to be a video. We're going to record a video and then upload it later. But if you have any questions that you would like answered revolving around the nature of the D&D campaign that we are playing over on Rustage's channel and his Twitch stream, links to all this below. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. All this nonsense about streams and Tekkings and Rustages, this is all just nonsense to me. But if you have any questions that you would like us to answer about the campaign, leave them in the comments below, and maybe we'll get to them tomorrow. You know, we can't reveal all the mysteries and secrets of the universe, but, you know, it depends on the question. We'll go into some further detail, because, you know, this campaign is really popular. A lot of people seem to like our ongoing mighty adventures and where the roulette will spin in this great wheel of life. Yeah, check out that analogy or a metaphor or whatever the hell I just did. Yeah, that was really deep. But anyway, yeah, leave your questions down below, and you'll see if they maybe get answered. Possibly, perhaps. I'm not sure. William Eminom, out! Who the hell are these people? How do they have wanted posters? They don't look piratey at all. Look at this kid. This grinning kid with a straw hat. He's definitely not going to make something of himself. They have a damn skeleton on their crew? Okay, I admit that is pretty badass. And a robot, but, you know, I don't know. Can this girl even transform into a dragon? Because I have a dragon on my crew, Mad G Pearl, yeah. You know, this Jinbei guy, this guy looks pretty badass, yeah, but I just don't think they're going to hack it. I feel bad for them, honestly. I just don't think they're going to succeed in this pirate life. They should probably just give up. Yeah.